Hi, this is the second time I've tried to film this video because it is not going well. As you can probably tell, today we have a change of scenery because I thought maybe a pretty background could distract you from the cringe-worthiness of what I'm about to do. Last year, at the beginning of 2018, I made a video called New Year, New Me, where I also sat on this balcony, but from different angles, so now you get to see a different part of it. I basically just rambled on about what I expected out of 2018. I predicted examinations, which I thought would be stressful and fun, which it was, and uni applications, which I also thought would be stressful and fun, which it was, but leaning more towards the stressful side. But something unexpected also happened in 2018, and that was the internship mostly from like August to October, so about 3 months' time. And it was also the first time that I worked amongst people that weren't my own age, so it was really cool to learn from people older than I was. November and December basically were filled with uni applications. For the entire 2 months, I would just be writing essays upon essays upon essays. And one of the essays that I particularly enjoyed writing was for Princeton. I just thought the only way to make sure that you don't get in is to not apply, right? So I just decided to apply anyway. And basically with this supplemental essay, they gave you a bunch of different prompts. The one I chose was to pick a favorite quote from a book and write about one of your experiences that helped you define a personal value or impacted the way you looked at the world. And in true pretentious teenager fashion, I chose a quote from Chekhov. But I liked this essay so much, not necessarily because of the quote that I chose, but more because of the experience that I chose to elaborate on, which was taken from the internship. And since both the internship and uni applications made up such a huge part of my year, I thought I would read this essay to you to sum up my 2018 and kind of bring in 2019 with some hope. Okay, let's do this. I know now, I understand that in our work culture, whether it's acting or writing, what's important is not fame, not glory, not the things I used to dream of, but the ability to endure. I have faith, and it's not so painful now. And when I think of my vocation, I'm not afraid of life. Roughly 2 months ago, I took one of my favorite photos. One of the great perks of interning at an arts festival is the chance to see free performances as they rehearsed. A puppeteering pair from Macau had been invited to conduct a workshop teaching students to make unique puppets from clear tape, with the final presentation being a mobile show that took audiences from one historic location to another. That night, they rehearsed one last time, and I had the privilege of tagging along. As we stood in the October evening breeze, a few pedestrians would stop to join us, but all lost interest as soon as they realized there was an obscure, modern performance. I knew by then that their opinions no longer mattered, for it was the process that gave this piece the most meaning, but I wondered, how much reward must an artist cultivate from the process alone for them to carry on with unquenchable drive? When art is indispensable for the public to be inspired, but your own art is dismissed by the ignorant, where does the modern artist find inspiration? I turned back to the show. They were now singing a famed tune from the 60s with white LEDs glowing brightly inside their tape puppet. At around 10:30, rehearsal has concluded and the students made their way back to the studio. The two teachers followed, carrying the glowing puppet. At some point, somebody joked and made one of our puppeteers laugh. She held a glowing tape head in one hand and laughed as if the exhaustion of working a full day never occurred to her. Sneakily or not so sneakily, I took the picture. I loved it so much because she, like Nina, had endured, but her pure and unwavering faith in art has given her the choice to laugh. The LEDs were now casting shadows across her face, and every single scattered flake of darkness could attest, when this artist thinks of her vocation, she's not afraid of life. I'm 17. I cannot say with solemn confidence that I know what it means to endure, but when my age brought the inevitable sense of rebellion, it has convinced me to believe in the necessity of tortured souls, and alas, my once sensible young heart listened. All too evident in the songs I used to write, grim lyrics to go with a minor key. I pulled inspiration from whatever feeble suffering I felt within, but failed to understand that endurance does not equate to being tortured souls. Instead, it's a love for art so pure that any day you're immersed in art is a day worthy of laughter. I've yet to experience endurance, and I've yet to know for sure if my love for film is pure enough to grant me courage in life. But in the same way I enjoy conversations with those older than myself, Reading Chekhov and watching a strange puppet show has offered me a chance to prepare myself for the storm in the brewing. Perhaps I'll write a few dozen scripts before one is produced. Perhaps I'll make a couple hundred videos before I direct a feature. But as I write application essays for schools I have slim chances of getting into, the very least that I can hold on to is that even if I'm yet to be sure of my love for film, my love for education has already gotten me this far. It has already granted me faith. And for now, I'm not afraid of life. I used to dream of, but the ability to them ability no longer mattered, for it was the process that gave this You done? That was an announcement about garbage bags, by the way.